the leukocyte extravasation. So these are the important points from which you will get the question in your exam. So first of all, you guys have to remember, let me explain firstly with the help of you can say my own approach, because that I use for my exam when I am preparing for step 1. So first of all, you guys have to remember, in the leukocyte extravasation, the first step is margination. The first step is margination. So if they ask question from you like the neutrophil arrival and function, what in the neutrophil arrival and function, what is the first step? The first step is margination. So then they will ask from you how this margination is going to occur. So first of all, we know that when there is acute inflammation, there are different kind of cytokines are going to produce. So those cytokines will lead to vasodilation. So when the vasodilation will occur, the blood flow will become slow. It lead to stasis, and as I already mentioned, basically it is going to occur in the post capillary venules. So when the blood flow will will become slow, there are different kind of cells which are going to migrate from center of the blood vessel to the periphery. So let's suppose this is the blood vessel. So after the vasodilation, what will happen? The cells which are present in the center, they are going to migrate to the periphery, toward the periphery. Why they are going to move to the periphery? Because they have to leave this blood vessel. So this is the first step. Please always remember this step. What is margination? Basically, during the inflammation, there is a vasodilation, and that vasodilation slows the blood flow in the postcapillary venules. When the blood flow will become slow, after that the cells which are present in the center of the blood vessel, they will move to the periphery. This is the first step in the neutrophil arrival or in the leukocyte extravasation. Then after that there is second step, that is the ruling. And here they mention the ruling with the step 1, but you guys can remember these steps you can say separately. First step is margination, and how the margination is going to occur, as I already explained. Then after that we have the ruling. So again we have to understand different things. So basically during the inflammation, there are different kind of proteins that are upregulated on the endothelial cell. So first of all, what are the proteins that are going to upregulated on the endothelial cell? These are called the selectin. So basically these selectin are also called the speed bumps. These are upregulated on the endothelial cell during the inflammation. So what are the example of these selectin? So basically we have the P selectin and E selectin. So you guys have to remember, in the endothelial cell we have different kind of selectin like P selectin and E selectin. P selectin is going to release from the Weber pellet bodies, and that Weber pellet bodies are going to produce P selectin only when they when there is a production of histamine, because histamine is going to mediate the P selectin release from the Weber pellet bodies. Then also we have the E selectin. E selectin, basically you guys have to remember, it is induced by tumor necrotic factor and interleukin 1. So they will ask from you in exam what are the examples of like selectin. So we have the P selectin, we have the E selectin. So E selectin, basically it is going to upregulated by tumor necrotic factor and interleukin 1. Then we have the P selectin. P selectin is going to mediated by histamine, and from where it release? It release from the Weber pellet bodies. So please keep this in mind. So these are the the type of proteins which are present on the endothelial cell. Now the question is, these endothelial cell when will express these selectin will go and bind with the leukocyte. On the leukocyte we have different kind of different protein that are present on the leukocyte, like we have the Cial Lewis. So basically we have the different kind of Cial Lewis. So these are the Cial Lewis, Cial Lewis, which are present on the leukocyte, and these are going to attach with endothelial cell. So let's suppose this is the endothelial cell. Just I am trying to explain with an example. As I already mentioned, these are the endothelial cell which are present in the blood vessel. So on these endothelial cell you have what kind of selectin? We have the P selectin and we have the E selectin. So basically P selectin is going to attach with Cial Lewis, which is present on the leukocyte. Then also we have the E selectin. E selectin is also going to attach with the leukocyte with the help of Cial Lewis. Then after that we also have the L selectin. L selectin is also present on the leukocyte. So in the second step, in the case of ruling, you guys just have to remember, in the ruling we have the different kind of protein that are going to help, like we have the selectin, p-selectin, e-selectin. Then after that these selectin are present on the endothelial cell, and these selectin will bind with the Selectin Lewis X on the leukocyte that is going to help in rolling. So these are the important steps in the margination and rolling. So let's try to discuss this first step from the first aid. So they mention here, first of all, extravasation predominantly occur at the post-capillary venules. So this is the important MCQs. Whenever there is inflammation, in the inflammation, when the neutrophils are going to leave the blood vessel, they will leave the blood vessel at the post-capillary venule. So what are the steps? First one is the margination and second is the rolling. So they mention here what are the examples of p-selectin. We have the e-selectin that is going to upregulated by tumor necrotic factor alpha, tumor necrotic factor and interleukin 1. Then we have the p-selectin that is translocated to endothelial surface via exocytosis from the Weber pallid body. So it's mean p-selectin are present in the Weber pallid bodies. From the Weber pallid bodies, they are going to translocate it into endothelial cell with the help of exocytosis process. Then also you guys can remember there are other proteins which are present on the endothelial cell like glycam 1, CD34. These are also the different kind of proteins which are present on the endothelial cell. So basically these are the proteins which are present on the endothelial cell. So these proteins are going to attach with leukocytes. So E-selectin is going to attach with Selectin Lewis X, then P-selectin is going to attach with Selectin Lewis X again. You can say, then we have the glycam 1 and CD34. This is going to attach with L-selectin. So this is the important interaction between the endothelial cell and the leukocyte. So that's all about the margination and rolling. Then after that we have the third step, or according to your first step, it is the second step, that is adhesion, and it is also called the tight binding. So again we have to understand the basic concept, like what are the cellular adhesion molecules that are upregulated on the endothelium. So these are the ICAM and VCAM. So ICAM and VCAM, these are the cellular adhesion molecules that are upregulated on the endothelium by tumor necrotic factor and interleukin 1. So please keep this in mind. And then after that we also have some kind of proteins. Those are called integrins, which are present on the leukocyte. So these are the adhesion molecule that are present on the endothelial cell. Then also we have some kind of integrin protein, and those integrin proteins are present on the leukocyte. And they can ask from you in exam, what are the mediators that are going to, you can say, represent these integrin molecules, or how these integrins are upregulated on the leukocyte. They are going to upregulate with the help of complement protein C5a. They are going to upregulate by leukotriene B4. So basically complement protein C5a, leukotriene B4, these are the, you can say, integrin molecules which are present on the leukocyte. So they mention here CD11 and 18 integrin. Basically it is also called LFA1, MAC1. Then we have the VL4 integrin. So basically you guys just have to remember, in the adhesion and tight binding process, ICAM is going to attach with CD11-18 integrin, and VCAM is going to attach with VLA4 integrin. So this is the second step, when the ICAM or simply when the adhesion molecules are going to attach with the integrin molecule, then the tight binding will occur. So this is the you can say the second step. But here the important, we have to discuss also the some kind of pathologies, like here they mention in the margination and rolling, when there is a one disease which is called leukocyte adhesion deficiency. This is the disease which we will study in immunology. So basically what happen in leukocyte adhesion deficiency, there is a defective, you can say, Selectin Lewis type. Basically the Selectin Lewis are the molecules which are present on the leukocyte. So when these Selectin Lewis molecules are defective, the E-selectin or P-selectin are not going to attach with leukocyte. So that's why it is called leukocyte adhesion deficiency. So it is a disorder which we will study in immunology. Then after that we also have another disorder like defective in leukocyte adhesion deficiency type 1. Basically this is the type 2 leukocyte adhesion deficiency, and this is the type 1. In type 2 there is a problem in Selectin Lewis, but in the type 1 there is a problem in CD18 integrin. So they can ask a question from you in exam, like what are the different types of leukocyte adhesion deficiency. Leukocyte adhesion deficiency have two main types, one type 1 and the other is type 2. In type 1 there is a problem in the integrin molecules like CD18, and these integrin molecules are present on the leukocyte. Then after that we have the, you can say, leukocyte adhesion deficiency type 2, in the type 2 we have the problem in the cell Lewis. So these are the important points which you guys have to remember. Then after that we have to understand other kind of molecules that are going to help, like they can ask from you in exam, can you let us know, or you can you tell the different kind of problems that are going to occur because of this disease. So basically we will study in the immunology, like when there is a problem in the leukocyte adhesion deficiency, it is going to produce different kind of like infections. It will lead to recurrent bacterial infection. So this is the important point which you guys have to remember. Then after that we have the next step, that is called diaptasis. So diaptasis, basically it is the transmigration. So what is transmigration? Basically when the white blood cell travel between the endothelial cell and exit the blood vessel, it is called transmigration. Then again we have to remember what are the proteins that are going to help in diaptasis. So basically we have the PKM1, which is also called CD31, that is present on the vascular endothelial cell or stromal cell, and on the leukocyte we have the PKM1, which is also CD31. So there is an interaction which is going to occur between the PKM1 on the endothelial cell and the PKM1 on the leukocyte, and this interaction is going to help the, you can say, diaptasis. So this is the interaction which is going to help to exit the white blood cells. So this is the third step which you guys have to remember. Then after that we have the migration. So basically what is the meaning of migration? It means when the white blood cell travel through interstitium to the site of injury or infection guided by the chemotactic agent. So what is migration? So let's take an example of this diagram. Let's suppose this is the blood vessel. We know that normally the immune cells are present in the blood vessel. So after the transmigration, when the, let's suppose these are the neutrophil, when the transmigration will occur, these neutrophil will leave this blood vessel and come to this interstitial space. And here is the example of injured tissue. So when the neutrophil reach this interstitial space, they will come toward this injured tissue. This is called migration, and this migration is going to occur with the help of chemotactic signal. Like we have the chemotactic factor C5a, interleukin 8, leukotriene B4, then we have the 5-HETE, kallikrein, platelet activating factor, we have the N-farm methionine peptide. These are the chemotactic factors which are present on the injured area, and these are going to help to migrate the neutrophil toward the injured tissue. So these are the important points which you guys have to remember. And they can also ask a question from you in the exam, like what are the examples of chemotactic factors? So it's complement protein C5a, interleukin 8, leukotriene B4. So these are the important chemotactic factors which are going to help in migration. So let's try to understand this from this diagram. Here they also mention all the things in step by step. So first step is the migration and ruling, as I already mentioned, and normally these are the you can say polymorph, you can say these are the kind of neutrophil. So PMN, basically these are the cells of immune system. So on these cells we have different kind of selectin, like these are the endothelial cell. On the endothelial cell we have the E selectin. Then as I already mentioned, we also have the P selectin. So on the neutrophil you will see these Sly Lewis. These are going to attach with P selectin and E selectin. This is the first step which we study in margination and ruling. Then after that when the neutrophil are going to attach with the Sly Lewis and P selectin, the second step is tight binding. Then again, how the tight binding is going to occur? This is going to occur with the help of integrin and you can say adhesion molecules. Like we have the ICAM and VCAM on the endothelial cell. Then we have the integrin molecules like VLA4 integrin or CD11-18 integrin molecules that are present on the leukocyte. Then after the tight binding we have the diaptasis. Diaptasis mean basically it is a kind of transmigration. White blood cell travel between the endothelial cell and exit the blood vessel. And after the diaptasis we have the migration, and in the migration you can see the neutrophils are going to the site of injury. So these are the important steps which you guys can remember also with the help of diagram. Then also but they here they don't mention. Let me check on the next page if they mention there or not. So basically here they skip the one step, that is the phagocytosis. Fifth step is phagocytosis, which you guys can also write on your book. So first of all, what is basically phagocytosis? It is a consumption of pathogen or necrotic tissue, and phagocytosis is always enhanced by the opsonin protein, and also with the help of, you can say, IgG and complement C3 protein. So they can ask from you in exam, what are the things that are going to help in phagocytosis? So these are the opsonin molecule. What are the opsonin molecule? Like IgG and C3b. So these are the opsonin molecules which are going to help in phagocytosis. Please keep this in mind. And phagocytosis is always going to occur with the help of macrophages. Why I am explaining this? Because there is a one disease which is called Cherdich-Hagacius syndrome. So basically Cherdich-Hagacius syndrome, it is a disease in which the problem occur in phagocytosis. So that's why you guys have to remember these steps one by one, because they can ask from you in exam different diseases. So let's take a quick review which we study from the first page, acute inflammation, then on the second page, that are the leukocyte extravasation. So first of all, they will ask from you like how many steps of a neutrophil arrival or leukocyte extravasation. So you guys can say these are the total 5 steps. First one is the margination, second one is the ruling, third one is the adhesion, fourth one is the transmigration and chemotaxis, and fifth one is the phagocytosis. Then also there are also different steps, like in the step 6 your phagocytosis cell are going to destroy the bacteria. Like when you phagocytose anything, your macrophages are going to destroy the phagocytosed material. So you can say in this 6th step there is a destruction of phagocytosed material. So these are the total 6 steps which you guys can remember for the exam. Then according to each step we have different diseases, like they can ask leukocyte adhesion deficiency is the problem in which step. So it is a problem in margination and ruling, because we see there are different kind of leukocyte adhesion deficiency, type 1 and type 2. Then when the Cherdich-Hagacius syndrome will occur, when the problem is in the phagocytosis. So these are the important steps which you guys have to remember. Then also I want to here highlight the important cardinal sign of inflammation which we already discussed. Like they can ask from you question, during the inflammation we see the area is red and the area is warm. So what are the, you can say, the mediators which are going to produce the redness, which is also called rubor, and warm, which is called color. So basically, as I already mentioned, during the inflammation the vasodilation is going to occur, which will lead to increased blood flow. When the blood flow will increase, that area will has more blood supply, so the area will become more red, and after that the area will also become warm. So they can ask from you in exam, what are the mediators that are going to vasodilate. So the important one is the histamine, prostaglandin and bradykinin that are going to produce redness and warm. Then after that I in the last lecture explain there is also another cardinal sign, that is the swelling. So in the exam they can ask from you how the swelling is going to occur. So I already explained, it is due to the leakage of fluid from the postcapillary venules into the interstitial space. And what are the inflammatory mediators that are going to produce the swelling? So basically histamine, which is going to produce the swelling. Then also tissue damage that can produce the swelling. Then after that they can ask from you in exam, what are the mediators that are going to produce pain, which is also called dolor. So bradykinin and prostaglandin E2 are going to produce the pain. So these are the important points which you guys have to remember. Then after that fever, that is also very important. They can ask from you in exam, like what kind of prostaglandins are going to produce the fever. So prostaglandin E2, basically it raises the temperature set point in the hypothalamus. So that's why we have the fever in case of inflammation. So these are the you can say the important points in the case of inflammation.